Good evening. Firstly, my congratulations and my compliments to the entire team of T Hub, Jayesh Ranjan, Jay Krishnan, Srini Kollipara, BVR Mohan Reddy Garu, and the entire board of T Hub for making us proud, for making the state proud, making Telangana proud, and most certainly, as Jayesh has put it, for leading by example, for actually showing the world, for showing India, the remaining states in India, that there can be some fascinating experiments in the public space as well, where even government actually can contribute and participate. So many compliments, many congratulations to the entire team of T Hub and for the fascinating and fantastic journey that you guys have embarked in the last 2 years. I remember very well the conversation we had exactly about, I think, 3.5 years ago, before we set out on this journey. This was, I think, the 4th of June, 2014. I assumed office as the Minister for Information Technology on the 2nd of June, 2014. When we started, the then IT Secretary was Harpreet Singh. We started talking, we started discussing on what needs to be done to ensure, because that was a time you have to realize that there were a lot of apprehensions, a lot of misgivings, a lot of prejudices, a lot of just, it was a fear of unknown as to what would happen to Hyderabad, what would happen to the IT sector in Hyderabad, how we would be able to keep competing with, say, Bangalore, Pune, or the other IT hubs in India. So we started talking, and then we said, you know what, let's go and seek the counsel, let's go and seek the advice of some very smart people. So we drove right to IT and ISB. It was PJ Narayanan, if he's here, I don't know, and Dean Ajit Rangnekar of Indian School of Business. We just ended up there without any agenda. We started talking. We started just having a very freewheeling conversation. Srini was there, and a number of other professors, Aruna, and I think Ramesh was there too, and a lot of people, belonging to the Hyderabad ecosystem. We just, started chatting. We started talking about what can be done, what is happening across the world, what should the government of Telangana be focusing, how can we ensure that Hyderabad continues to take the mind space of people across the world, etc., etc. Before the end of the day, before the end of the conversation, one decision was taken. We had agreed to set up a space. In fact, initially we didn't know what to call it, but we just agreed and decided that we will be setting up a large incubator to ensure innovation is supported fully by the government of Telangana. That was the beginning of this journey. And then eventually, in the next, I think it took a bit longer than I would have liked it, but eventually we were ready by the next year. We actually had IT Hyderabad support us with a warm shell. They said you could use this. It's a good space. It's just lying out there. So we took it. We've completely, made it our own, and we've, I think, done a fairly good job from what I keep hearing from many, many people I meet. And then on November 5th, in fact, we waited. We were ready by, I think, August, if I remember correctly, August 2015. We wanted Ratan Tata to come in and inaugurate this facility. A lot of people asked me, they said, what's so special about Ratan Tata that you are holding it up for him? I told them one thing, and Ratan Tata, unfortunately, was indisposed at that point of time in August. He said, I can only come in November. So we actually postponed, we delayed our launch by about 3 months, just to wait for Mr. Tata's time. A lot of people asked me. I think Mr. Tata truly symbolizes the transformation that's sweeping this nation today. You think Tata, you think of the brand name Tata, the immediate thing that you can recall is steel or large, robust machines, anything but startups, anything but innovation. But today, you look at this gentleman who's over 70, a septuagenarian, you see him investing in startups every other day. He keeps making all these very interesting investment choices, which keep appearing in newspapers. So I found it really fascinating. We reached out to him. I had a 3-hour lunch meeting with him. I was talking to him, trying to understand what he is doing and why he is doing it. He was very upbeat, even in his 70s, where he can absolutely comfortably retire and do his own thing and travel to all the exotic locations that Dr. BVR keeps going to, Uzbekistan and, What was the name of the place you mentioned? Kebab something? Kiwa, sorry, Kiwa. Yeah, I almost sounded like kebab something. Anyway, so he could have done that. He can hang up his boots, do his thing, not bother about what's going on in the world. He's done his bit. He's been the chairman of a large Indian conglomerate which has taken over Jaguar, for God's sake. So he can rest. He can actually hang up his boots and do his thing. But he's not doing that. That's why I was so fascinated, and that's exactly why, because I believe he's truly the representative of the transformation that is sweeping our nation, and that's why we wanted him to inaugurate this facility. Now, the day he was here, the day he was at T Hub, November 5th, 2015, he made a very profound statement. He looked around, he walked around, he spoke to a lot of youngsters, and then he said, "This is the new face of India." That was the kind of optimism. And that just made our day. That just made our day. Because, when people like him walk up and tell you that this is the new face of India, this is what we look forward to, and this is what India should look forward to, I think that is a telling statement, that is a telling comment. In the last 2 years, I keep meeting several industrialists, several tech czars, several ministers, other government representatives on a very regular basis. Whoever I meet, wherever I meet, and whatever we talk about, inevitably, there is the mention of T Hub. And that's not by me. I don't bring it up of late. In fact, the telling testimony or the telling commentary on the success that T Hub has been is the fact that so many of these wise people, so many of these prominent people have visited T Hub, and I have no clue. I have no clue that they've visited, and they've actually spent some quality time here as well. So that goes to show you what a story T Hub has been and how successful it has been in ensuring that the Hyderabad innovation engine and the Hyderabad startup ecosystem has shaped up really well. I remember a lot of other such comments. One of the coolest comments I heard, in fact, I was supposed to be at this event, I missed out. A.R. Rahman and Rasul Pukuti were at T Hub. I don't know if you guys remember. These two are extremely creative people, Academy Award winners. I mean, it would just be, your good fortune to be sharing some breathing space with them, right? Sitting on the same podium would be a delight anyways. Unfortunately, I missed out. But I saw the video later on. A.R. Rahman looks around the T Hub. Then he goes, "This is a government office? This is a government-created building?" And then somebody said, "Yes." And then he goes, "I like this government." The point I'm trying to make is, it just... So many of these comments, so many of these amazing testimonies really do make you feel proud. I remember Satya Nadella coming in, saying, if government is willing to create infrastructure like this, if government acts as an enabler, then truly the ecosystem is only going to prosper, ecosystem is only going to do well. I can go on and on about what many other people have said. As Jayesh has pointed out, Niti Aayog looks up to T Hub as a model worth emulating by the rest of the nation, by the rest of the country and remaining states in India to truly evolve and truly support innovation. But I do remember one very specific event at T Hub of which I was a part of. I think it was the IFDI, Innovate for Digital India. It was a program which was also co-sponsored by Intel and a number of other, knowledge partners, and also Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. The member secretary of DST, Mr. Mittal, was also at this event, and he spoke eloquently. This man can really tell a story. He's brilliant. He can share wonderful personal experiences. He can talk about a bunch of things that just, a very compelling storyteller. So he went on to narrate a bunch of things, but one thing that stood out in my memory, he complimented T Hub not by, the cool swanky interiors, not about the cool swanky interiors or the kind of creative geniuses that there are or the kind of effort the government has put in or any specific aspect such as that. He said, and this is the Department of Science and Technology saying, not me. He said, T Hub, in fact, had that catalytical effect. In fact, we call our building catalyst. It exactly, I think it's self-explanatory. I don't need to elaborate on that. The catalytical effect T Hub was supposed to have on the innovation ecosystem of Hyderabad is represented in the fact today that we have David Bergvinson of ICRISAT, the Director General, who has launched his own iHub, focusing on agri-tech. We must have somewhere in the room, I'm presuming, the L.V. Prasad Eye Institute's Srujana Center for Innovation, which focuses on eye care and ophthalmology. We also have, I'm pretty sure, somewhere a gentleman or a lady from CCMB, the Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, who have launched their own Center for Innovation. I'm pretty sure there must be some representative of the IIT Hyderabad, the chairman himself is here, of course, IIT Hyderabad, who again launched in this very room a healthcare-focused incubator. What has happened as a result of T Hub in the last 2 years is nothing short of phenomenal, because T Hub has spurred and has created and has acted as a catalyst in creating the largest number of incubating spaces for any city in India today. And this is not me saying it, this is Department of Science and Technology's Member Secretary H.D. Mittal himself telling us. 17 incubators, unlike any other city in India, and focused exclusively on certain verticals. The Software Technology Parks of India, STPI, has launched what is called as IMAGE, Innovation in Animation, Gaming, Multimedia and Entertainment. We have somebody in agri-tech. We have somebody focused on eye care. We have somebody else focused on healthcare. And that's exactly what Dr. BVR was referring to when he said domain knowledge. I think we need domain experts. We need our farmers to be helped by ICRISAT by way of those disruptions that we talk about in agriculture. How the real common man on the ground, a common farmer on the ground, by way of this rural innovation, by way of this social innovation, can actually be helped. I think it's been a fascinating story if you go on, to talk about the other things T Hub has achieved. Dr. BVR also talked about market access. I'm happy to share with you. Government of Telangana has already thrown open its doors for market access. In fact, we've been working with a number of startups from Hyderabad, whether they are a part of T Hub or whether they're from outside of T Hub as well. I can recount 2 ready examples that come to my mind when it comes to market access to startups in Telangana. One example that I can recall, which has been a fascinating success story. There is a startup called Radical Tribe. They reached out to Jayesh Ranjan. They said, sir, we've identified a pain point for the common man on the street in Hyderabad. We would like to address it. Jayesh was very curious. He said, what is it? They said, today if you travel on a motorbike or a car all over Hyderabad, you could be stopped. You would be asked for 3 things. You're asked for your driver's license, a registration card, an insurance card. Now we found a solution. If you have a smartphone and if you help us connect to the police department and the transport department, we can develop an app which enables you to store all these papers in a digital format and which then can be read by the police and the transport officials, provided they play along and provided they work with us. So we facilitated it. And today, guess what? We have this app. It's called the RTA, the Road Transport Authority M-Wallet, mobile wallet. It has been downloaded more than 1.3 million times by Hyderabadis, and it was developed by a local startup called Radical Tribe. And the story gets better. I think 6 months later, Government of India reached out to us, Ministry of Surface Transport. They said, we are fascinated by this. We want to emulate it across the country. Now, we've given them the know-how, and they're, I think, going to spread the story across the country as well. Goes to show you what you can do, provided you give the market much-needed market access, as you've mentioned, sir. I can think of another example, a T Hub startup called Banyan Nation, right? They're into waste treatment, waste management. I believe they've just been given an order, I think a few days ago, in a couple of municipalities in Telangana to try out their own waste management solution. That goes to show you how adept and how easy it has been to work with Government of Telangana in ensuring the pain points of the common men, common women and common citizens of our state can be addressed by the startup ecosystem of our state, and more precisely Hyderabad. Now I can go on and on, but I heard some very interesting comparisons. Jay said I'm like a father. Interesting. Since I look up to BVR as a father figure, so I think that makes him the grandfather of T Hub. So I think if I'm the father, and then these 2 children, the twins, the Love Kush, they couldn't be more dissimilar twins, I must tell you. Right, so apparently they're my children also. Is that so? And Jayesh goes on to just, add to these metaphorical comparisons and calls Srini Bulldog. I don't know where that came from. Talked about dog ears and bulldogs. I don't want to go there, but I think cocktails are all, waiting for you, so you can go on and, say what all you want to say the rest of the night. But I'll just end on one last thought. I think what has been accomplished so far is it makes me extremely happy as a father. But I think the journey has just begun. Let's not pat ourselves on the back and say that we've achieved some phenomenal things. I think we've done well. But let's not gloat, and let's not, get hung up too much on the fact that, we've done exceedingly well. We've done well, yes, no doubt. Catherine, thank you for joining us. The Consul General of the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen, please. She deserves a huge round of applause. Ever since the lady stepped in, not into the room, but into Hyderabad, I think she's charmed all of us. Thank you very much, Catherine, for being there, for very supportive, number of counts, and more importantly, GES coming up. So look forward to that as well. Before I leave the mic, as you all know, politicians are in love with their mics, and they'll never, unless somebody has to, frisk me away, I'll not get out of here. Last two things. I think now time has come for T Hub to start focus. Well, it's good to have 9 international startups, as part of the T-Bridge program, come into India and explore the Indian market. I'm pretty sure a lot of Indian startups have also started exploring United States, Europe, and a number of other locations as well. But I think T Hub has to start focusing on making a social impact within our country. Social innovation, rural innovation, as people talk about, all these slogans are good. Startup India, the whole innovation ecosystem, etc. is all good. But unless, as our Honorable Chief Minister, Shri K. Chandrasekhar Rao keeps pointing out, any technology which does not bring about a societal impact, which does not have a positive social impact in a country like India, which is still emerging, is futile. In spite of the coolest technologies you may have, in spite of the coolest thoughts you may have, in spite of the coolest tools you may have, unless you are able to make a deep impact on the society that we live in, on the society that we exist in, definitely it is going to be futile. So I do hope that T Hub will come out with inventions, innovations in the social, rural space, which will address the common man's pain points in India. I pointed out to a couple, and I'm sure there could be hundreds and hundreds of solutions which can be developed by the youngsters of India, for India, and also for the rest of the world. So thank you very much once again, and I truly appreciate being here. I truly appreciate the journey of T Hub. And one last thing, we will be launching, T Hub, as you all know, is India's largest incubator today. But next year, 2018, we will be launching the world's largest incubator right here in our own city of Hyderabad. So thank you very much.